What's up guys, it's your favorite QB coach, and give me 6 months of your time, I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. If you ever wondered to yourself, how do I hit that beautiful draw? I see all these professionals hitting it. I see all my friends in the group that are better than me hitting it. How the hell do I hit a draw so I can impress my friends, I can hit it further, I can be a great golfer? Well, I might not necessarily agree with what you're thinking right there, but I'm gonna indulge you guys in this particular video. We're gonna teach you how to hit a draw. So if you're interested in that, let's go ahead and jump in. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you're too busy or you just can't make it out to our locations for lessons, Kiwi Golf Japan is the membership site for you. With 230 plus videos of golf instruction, we have everything on the site you could possibly want. So go ahead and check out that link down below, and now let's get into the video. So when it comes to a draw, I know a lot of you guys have the push draw in mind. So we're absolutely going to be talking about a push draw in this particular video. But I don't want you guys to just think that a push draw is the only way to hit a draw. So we'll also talk about 2 other ways that you can hit a draw as well. We're going to be going over all the basic fundamentals that you probably see in other videos as well. We'll be giving you guys some pretty interesting things that you probably haven't heard from other videos. So let's go start off with the push draw. Let's talk about club path, face angle, all that good stuff, and then we'll get going from there. So when it comes to a push draw, it's important to understand where the club path needs to be, as well as where the face angle needs to be. So to start understanding this, let's start out with the basic terminology, and this is going to be the target line. So the target line is going to be this invisible straight line that goes off into the distance, and it's going to be where TrackMan is pretty much pointing its radar, right? So that would be the target line. Now, wherever the club head is swinging relative to that line is going to be the club path when you actually hit the golf ball. And then the face angle, when you actually hit the golf ball as well, wherever that's pointing relative to that target line, that's going to be the face angle. So when it comes to a push draw, you must have a club path that is in to out. You cannot swing to the left and hit a push draw. Now, could you hit a pull draw? Yes, we'll get to that a little bit later. But you can't hit a push draw with an out to in club path. So you need to be swinging in to out. Now, the face angle also has to be right of the target line to hit a push draw, right? It's in the name. If the face angle is at the target line or left of it, the ball would start straight or left, and that would not be a push draw, right? Push draw is starting right of this target line and then drawing back. So to give you the recipe here, you need to have a club path, let's say of +5, +4, and then a face angle of, let's say, maybe +2. You can also have a club path of +10 and a face angle +2. That would also be a push draw. Main thing here is you need the club path to the right, you need the face angle left of the club path, but right of the target line, and you're gonna hit a push draw, right? That's the logistics out of the way. Let's start getting into the fun stuff, which is the mechanics. So there's lots of different ways to hit a push draw, but let me go over a really basic one that I like to teach. So if we go over here from the face-on view, first off, I always recommend let's get the ball position in the middle of the stance or slightly back of that. Now, if we're hitting a driver or like a fairway wood, this will be subtly different. I'm hitting a 7-iron here, so keep that in mind. At the very least, put it in the middle of the stance. Preferably, I honestly like to play it slightly back of middle whenever I'm trying to hit a draw. The reason for this is when you are hitting a draw, you typically are getting the low point shifting slightly more behind the ball. So if you can push that ball position back, it makes it easier to still get solid contact. We don't need to go into all of that in this particular video, but just understand first step when it comes to setup, get that ball position at least middle of the stance or further back than that. It's going to make it so much easier to do. Let's start talking about, body lines. Where should my body be? So when we're talking about body lines, I typically like to get more on the close side when I'm trying to hit a push draw, right? Because we need that club path to the right. Might as well close the stance down a little bit because it makes it easier to get the direction of the swing more to the right, which then in turn should get the club path more to the right. So what I recommend is, let's say, I'll put a club down here. Let's say this club right now is gonna be at 0, right? So this is parallel to the target line. So what I recommend is, at the very least, when you're trying to hit a draw, get about 5 to 10 degrees closed with the toe line and heel line. Make sure the pelvis is aligned to that as well in the rib cage. And that's gonna probably shift your path enough to get it more into out for a lot of you guys. Now, if you're one of those big out to in slicers, you might need to go a little bit more than 5 degrees. But for the most part, when you're getting close to the target line, I don't recommend getting more close than this. Unless you're intentionally trying to hit a bigger curved shot, I understand that, then you can get more. But for most of you guys out there that's trying to hit a very simple, basic push draw, 5 degrees closed with the toe line, heel line, pelvis, rib cage, you're gonna be good to go. That's exactly what the body should be doing. So now, as we're kind of getting to our setup, one of the things you might have an image or a feeling of is that you have a little bit of a handle late at address with your setup. I oftentimes get this from my pros, from all of our golfers when they're trying to close their stance. They feel like the handle is slightly late. So if you have that image, personally, in my opinion, I don't think it's a big deal. Now, I know some golf instructors will say that that's the death of a draw. You don't want to do that. But me, I'm under the opinion, impact dictates what the golf ball is going to do. Setup, yes, has some correlation to what will happen, only if you make the same swing over and over and over again. So if you're a pro golfer, whatever you're doing at setup probably has a much higher correlation to what will happen at impact. If you're an amateur golfer, whatever you're doing at setup will have a much smaller correlation relative to a pro. So keeping that in mind for a lot of you amateur golfers out there, if you feel like you're slightly handle late, it's not a big deal. Don't even worry about it. But if you really want to not have that feeling, I don't mind you guys pushing the handle forward. Just make sure when you push the handle forward, you're also twisting the face slightly closed as well, so that you don't push the hands like this and open up the face angle too much, and then from there it'll make it difficult for you to actually square the face as you approach the golf ball, right? That'd be like my only thing I think about if I'm trying to get the handle forward. But that pretty much sums up the setup right there. Let's start getting into kind of the backswing motion and downswing motion. So when it comes to the backswing, one of the things you probably don't want to do is try to take the club head and the hands and the arms out on the backswing and then vertically up towards the top of the swing. Now, can you still hit a push draw from that top of swing position? 100% absolutely. You're going to have to flatten the arms and the club shaft on the downswing. Then from here, you're going to have to lower and then move the club head out towards the ball. It's absolutely doable. But in my opinion, it just makes it more complex than you need to do. If you're trying to shift that path to the right, shift that swing direction more to the right, why don't you just get the overall swing slightly on the flatter side, right? So what I like to teach and recommend is relative to wherever you normally feel at the top of the swing, try to feel like the hand path overall is maybe about 5 to 10 degrees flatter. To give you an image of that, let's say I'm typically here at the top of the swing, 5 to 10 degrees flatter might be somewhere right around here. So I'm always trying to get that lead arm a little bit lower, try to get the overall hands a little bit more inside, and that should influence what I'm going to do on the downswing, which let's talk about that right now. So as we start to talk about the downswing, one of the most important points with the draw is we have to be hyper-focused on sequence of rotation and where are the hands moving in transition. This is a really important key point. So if I'm trying to hit a push draw and my upper body opens up incredibly early, that's shifting the hands out towards the ball and the club head, which means for me to now swing in to out from here, I have to redirect to here, and then I have to push the hands out this way and flip to be able to hit my push draw. Incredibly, inconsistent way to do that. So why open up the body so early when we're trying to hit a push draw? I don't understand it, right? But a lot of you guys want to do that. So what I recommend is, in transition, as the arms are lowering, keep the chest, keep the pelvis closed as a feel for the initial part. Most of you guys probably would need to feel till right around hip height when the hands get here. Then from here, you can actually start your rotation. And then from there, we can talk about the release and how that actually goes in with this as well. But to sum up that downswing transition, keep the upper body, and the lower body closed until the hands drop all the way till right around hip high. Start to rotate it that as a feel. That should be good to go. All right, that's it for you guys on YouTube, but before you guys click off, let me give you some quick wrap-up points. So yes, everyone wants to hit a push draw. I completely get it, but there's more ways to hit a draw than a push draw. And personally, I like to hit a pull draw with my wedges, and I'm quite deadly, when I practice, at hitting that pull draw. So don't think about a draw in just one way. It has to be a push draw. It can really be any type of way. But if you are trying to hit the push draw, make sure to walk through the checkpoints that we discussed, really focus in on what we talked about with setup. That's really important. Understand that the backswing is really, really important as well. And then that transition area is also very important as well. So watch the video plenty of times, share it with your friends, check out the Kiwi Coach 6-month programs online and in person, and like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys in the next video.